Hey, happy Tuesday with Tamika. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another episode of Tuesday with Tamika, where we believe in lifting as we climb, turning our trials into treasures, living a life to inspire and not impress, and allowing God to fully restore us. This month, the month of June, we are going to be jumping into our healing series. We going to be talking about all things healed. Before I jump in, I wanted to let you guys know that I am going to be hosting a free webinar. It's going to be a Heal Girl summer, y'all. Like, we coming out of this thing healed, elevated, and restored. So I am going to, on July 9th, 10th, and 12th. You choose your day. You don't have to attend all three. Choose your day and join the webinar. Go on over to www.tuesdaywithtamika.com and join the Healed Girl Summer webinar. I cannot wait to have you on there. All right, let's jump into this podcast. So, for the last couple of weeks, God has been giving me what I once heard another minister say, God winks. So these God winks are like moments that he kind of like winks at me and says, remember when. So the first one happened. I was going to the grocery store to pick up some things for a brunch that I was hosting. And I remember, or my daughter actually was riding with me, and we drove past a recycling bin, where you take your recycles. And my daughter said, "Mom, remember when we used to go there?" And it dawned on me that she did not even realize that I collected our recyclables every month in hopes to get 10, 20, $30, a little bit of money to feed them, a little bit of money to put snacks in the house, a little bit of money for gas. And I God allowed me to remember that, or to have my daughter to remember it, to remind me of how he's healed me financially. All right, y'all, I'm already getting emotional. I'm going to try to get through this without being emotional. But I wanted to just share with you guys my journey of God healing me emotionally, of God healing me financially, of God healing me relationally. I used to have really bad toxic relationships, and God has completely healed. So, we're going to touch on a couple of areas of how God has healed me and how He wants the same healing for you. So, today we're going to be going through the 7 signs that you are healed, but I want to walk you through these God winks. So, the next God wink happened when I was dropping my daughter off at a one of her girlfriends had a graduation party, and I was dropping her off, and the party was in an old neighborhood that I used to live in. And when I drove through this neighborhood, something inside of me was like, go drive by. That's something being God, right? So I drive by this old neighborhood, and I remember when we first moved into this home. It was me, my 3 children, and my ex-husband. I remember us being so happy, feeling like this is the greatest house that we ever lived in. It had a big beautiful backyard. It had enough room for us. I mean, we were just so happy. We were able to host parties. We were able to do everything that we wanted. So when my relationship with him successfully completed, in other words, we divorced, I remember feeling like I will never get that again, what I had with him. I would never have that. But when I walked away from the home, from the dogs that we had, from the furniture that I purchased. I walked away from everything, you guys. I did not even have a refrigerator. For the first like 6 months, I would use ice chests to keep me and my kids' food warm or cold. So I would have to buy food just for the day, cook it that day, keep lunch meat, things like that in an ice chest, until my sister gifted me with a refrigerator, which barely this year, almost 7 years later, I was finally able to purchase a brand new refrigerator. Why is that a God wink? Because God has completely healed me from that, situation. First and foremost, when I walked away from it, um, I walked away with a peace of mind. God healed my sanity. And then now looking back, I have been in a home that doesn't even compare. Like there's no comparison. My home that I live in now, 5 bedrooms, all of my children have the space that they need. I have an even bigger and beautiful backyard. I'm able to host like tons and tons of parties. People love the space that I live in. It's peaceful. It's love. You could feel the prayers in my home. Like it's just amazing. But if I wasn't willing to trust God in that season to walk away from that toxicity, I wouldn't be in this place today. So I want to read something to you. When I was telling my husband that I wanted to have a healed girl summer, right? Got my kids were like, "Mom, you are super corny," when I told them it's going to be a healed girl summer, because we know people got the hot girl summers popping or whatever. But I was like, we can't have a hot girl summer if we first don't have a healed girl summer. So when I told my one night I was wrestling in my sleep and God kept giving me this healed girl summer, this healed girl summer. Remember going over to the website www.tuesdaywithtamika.com and register either July 9th, 10th, or 12th. You choose the day for a free webinar where I am going to be walking you through the steps that I took to be the healed woman that you are listening to now. So when I told my husband about the Healed Girl Summer, this is what he sent to me with his fine self. Trees produce their buds at the end of summer. This occurs during what is referred to the liquefaction. I don't know what that means, but it's when trees get ready to face the upcoming winter. Trees do all their growing in early summer. In late summer, they store up reserves to begin the growing process again the following spring. My God. So let's break that up a little bit, and then we're going to get into these 7 signs that you are healed or you are healing. So at the beginning of summer, right? So we're getting ready to head into the beginning of summer. This is where trees start to grow, and they're preparing for the upcoming winter. We know that in winter things die. We know that in winter things fall off. The trees are bare. The fruit there, we're not producing any fruit, right? So why not walk into this summer completely healed? So when it's time for things in your life to die, whether that be toxic relationships, like those had to die, negative mindsets, those had to die in me. People, places, and things that no longer serve me, those things had to die. So here's the thing, we know that those things don't serve us, we know that those things don't give us value, but it still hurts when they die. It still hurts when those things fall off. It still hurts when you lose friendships that you thought were going to be lifelong. So, right now, what we're doing is we are preparing. We're going to have this Healed Girl Summer. You guys are going to join the webinar and we are going to get it cracking so that when winter comes, you won't die. Those things inside of you that aren't supposed to be there, they'll die, but you won't die. I cannot wait to host you for this webinar July 9th, 10th, or 12th. We about to have a Healed Girl Summer, y'all. So let's get into these 7 signs that you are healed or you are in the healing process. For the month of June, I'm going to be bringing on guests that have had significant healings in different areas. But I wanted to, before I brought my guests on, I wanted to give you a hint of that you're moving in the right direction. We know that when you're healing physically, Let's say you have a scar or you have a cut. It starts to itch, right? It gets a little bit uncomfortable. It scabs up. It gets hard. That's how you know that you're healing, right? Physically. Let's talk about those emotional scars. Let's talk about those mental scars, those spiritual scars. Let's see how you can identify if you're healed or healing. So, the first step is you stop waiting for them, emphasis on them, to choose you, and you begin to choose yourself. So, this makes me think of the woman at the with the issue of blood, right? So in those days and age, age and age, um, women when they were bleeding, they were like an outcast. They were not allowed to be around the general public because they were considered dirty and unworthy to be around men, women, anyone. So they had to isolate themselves. But she stopped worrying about people choosing her and saying, come on, let's get this healing. And she decided to go for the healing herself. I don't know who's listening that's waiting to be chosen. So you're waiting for the right man to walk into your life. You're waiting for them to give you the career opportunity. You're waiting to write your story. You're waiting. You're waiting to be picked. You're waiting to be chosen. Why don't you start choosing yourself? Why don't you realize that you are good enough all by yourself? If no one chooses you, God has already chosen you. The thing about the woman with the issue of blood is nobody knew her name. We still, to this day, we talk about her, and what do we call her? The lady with the issue of blood. We don't know her name, but we know that she chose her healing. We knew that she creeped through that crowd and she got her healing. What if no one ever knows your name, Tamika? What if you don't blow up and become the person that you think you are called to be? Are you still willing to choose you every single day? Are you still willing to go after your purpose and your dreams? She didn't care about what people thought about her. Some of us can't get to the place of healing because we pretend that we're not even hurt. What? Somebody repost that. We cannot get to the place of healing because we pretend like we are not hurt. You cannot live another day worrying about what people are going to say about you. You choose you. You choose your happiness. You choose your healing. Here's the other thing. She chose herself even with the consequences being high. If she would have been, here goes another quote unquote, exposed, she would have been probably put to death. If they knew that she had this bleeding issue and then she touched the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the healer, the Messiah, the great I am, she would have been exposed. But she didn't care. She stopped waiting for the doctors and for the people to choose her. And she said, I am going to choose my healing. So that's how you know that you're in the healing process, is when you decide to choose you and you stop waiting for other people to choose you. The next one is you become open to receive. See, broken people have broken mindsets. And I hate to bust y'all out like this, but some of y'all got some broken mindsets. I remember when my bonus babies first came to live with me, and we would be in a grocery store, or we would be somewhere, and a gentleman would ask, hey, do you need help? And if I needed the help, I would say, yes, carry this to my car, put this in my basket, yes, do, right? And they would gasp for air. Oh my God, he's trying to talk to you. But because my mindset wasn't there, because I was open to receive the help, because I was open to receive the compliment. Now let me tell you, God has healed me from this. There was times that people used to surprise me. I don't know if Caitlin listening, if Shannon listening, if some of my OGs or some of my homegirls is listening. They know they would try to surprise me with things and I would be pissed off. I would be so angry. And that comes from a place of unworthiness. See, I didn't feel like I deserved the surprise. I didn't feel like I deserved the attention on me. I didn't feel like I deserved the praise or the glory. So I would be angry because I felt that I was unworthy of it. But now that I'm in a place of healing, celebrate me. Give me the gifts. Yes, put my stuff in the basket for me. I am open to receive because God has healed my mindset. And I understand that when people are giving to me, they don't have a hidden agenda. The reason why a lot of people are not open to receive is because they think that people are like them, because they have a hidden agenda when they give. When they give to people, or let me say it like this, because you have a hidden agenda. When you give to people, you're expecting something in return. So that's why you're not open to receive, because you feel like people are going to do you like you do them. So when you begin to be open to receive gifts, compliments, all these things, you no longer say things when people say, "Oh, I like your hairstyle, I like your dress." You don't say, "Oh, this old thing." You're open to receive those compliments. You're open to go on the dates. I was talking to a group of women this past weekend, and I was telling them how my husband wines and dines me, but listen, I do the same for him. And it's because we expect, I no longer, I expect it. And the reason why I expect it is because I know who I am. I know that I'm worthy of it. I don't expect anything less. So if I were dating, with thank God I ain't, I would expect a gentleman to pay for me. I would expect, to go to fine restaurants. I would expect that because I know who I am and I'm open to it. The third thing is you forgive yourself often and quickly. Listen, y'all, I know that I'm healed from this because there was a time that if I made the smallest mistake, I would go crazy and I would stay in a space of unhappiness and just beating myself up for weeks, months because I burnt the cornbread or because I did something small. I know that I'm healed because I am not my identity is not tied to my mistakes. Somebody share that. Somebody text a friend and say your identity is not tied to your mistakes, boo boo. Once I realized that I was so much more than the mistakes that I made, I learned to forgive myself. I forgive myself and I ask God to forgive me. I forgive others quickly and often. I don't stay in those spaces anymore. What used to take me a week to get over now takes me a day. What used to take me a day to get over now takes me an hour. What used to take me an hour to get over now takes me a minute. What used to take me a minute to get over doesn't even affect me. And I forgive myself often and quickly. The fourth step that that you are walking in healing, or you've already healed, is you begin to trust the process because you understand that great things take time. So it's interesting, you guys. I had three premature babies. And you guys have probably heard me say this before. God invades my natural with the super. So the supernatural always invades my natural life. So I realize now, when I was going through it, I did not understand it. But I understand now that those premature babies came to teach me something. It came to teach me to trust the process. A baby needs to be inside, baking, cooking, being developed for 9 to 10 months. My babies came extremely early because God needed to show me that when you don't trust the process, when things come too early, there's a lot of care that comes with it. They're fragile. And in fact, some things that come too early die very quickly. Hear me, you guys. Hear me. I said I had three premature babies. Only two survived. My daughter that came too early, she only lived for for 2 hours, and she died in my husband's arm, my ex-husband's arms, her father's arms, because it was too early. Some of you want the baby, the metaphorical baby. You want the business. You want the job. You want the husband. You want the wife. But it's too early. And if it comes prematurely, it may die. If it comes prematurely, are you going to be able to handle the how fragile it is? How carefully you have to take care of it. But because you're not healed, you want things to be rushed, and you don't understand that there's a process, and you are not able to trust the process. But healed people understand that there's no ticking clock, that God's timing is not our timing. They understand that when they're completely healed, that the baby will come, that the husband will come, that the career will come, that the business will blossom. That's how you know that you healed. Number 5, healed people live in a state of gratitude. So I'm going to tell you guys this secret. This is the secret sauce. I was reading the word of God, and it said, enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him. And then God began to tell me that's the password. Thank you. Thank you is the password. Healed people understand gratitude is the secret sauce. This is one of the cornerstones of this podcast, turning our trials into treasures. I can't see my trials as treasures unless I'm grateful for them. I am grateful for the stroke. I am grateful for those relationships that have successfully completed. I am grateful for friends and family members that have walked away. I am grateful for the childhood trauma. I am grateful for God healing and elevating and restoring me. I no longer look at it like why this happened to me, but I'm thankful that it happened for me. I live in complete gratitude. If you have walked away and you doing something and you kind of listening to this in the background, I need you to come back to me real quick. I need you to understand a practice that I have done. I've been doing, and I will continue to do for the rest of my life. Every morning I write 5 things that I'm grateful for. From the birds chirping, that doesn't bother me. You know, some people are irritated by the birds waking them up. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for hot days. I'm grateful for the winter. I'm grateful for the spring. I'm grateful to have a nice cup of coffee. I'm grateful for the toilet flushing. I'm grateful for feet. I'm grateful for my big forehead. I'm grateful to be able to breathe. I'm grateful for the trees outside in my house. I'm grateful that I didn't get in a car accident. I'm grateful for the people that walked away. I'm grateful for my career. I'm grateful. I'm telling y'all, it's the secret sauce. When you live in a state of gratitude, you realize that you no longer have anything to hide, anything to prove, or anything to defend, because you understand that everything happened for a reason. So this is number 6, is you stand bold in who you are. Healed people ain't trying to be nobody but themselves. If you guys follow me on social media, you know some days I'll be looking cute or whatever. Other days I ain't got on no makeup. Got stains on my shirt. If you ain't following me, follow me at Tamika Thomas everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, all the places. But I stand boldly into who I am, because that's truly true who I am. That's truly who I am. Some days I like to look good. Other days I'm like, listen, this is all I got. This is all I'm given. But I show up authentically, exactly with who I am. And I feel like that's why y'all rock with me. I feel like that's why y'all really love me. Because you know one thing about Tamika is she gonna be transparent. One thing about Tamika is she gonna be authentic. And she's going to give us the real her in every single area. When you are restored, when you are healed, you stand in who you are and you stop hiding. because you understand that you are the light and light can't hide. Come on, somebody. You understand that you are the light and light can't hide. You stop trying to shrink into places that you no longer fit. You have to understand this, you guys. Healed people stand boldly in who they are. Number 7, let's wrap this up. Healed people don't look like what they've been through. So you don't wear the badge of honor, quote unquote, of oh woe is me. You don't wear it as a badge of honor. In fact, when you begin to tell people your story, they're like, no way. They be thinking you capping, like the kids say. They like, nah, that can't be. When I begin to tell people some of the traumatic things that I've been through, when I look back, when God gives me those God winks, and I look back to going to the recyclable, having to feed my kids, when I look back to lying to my children and telling them that I was on a diet and this is why I wasn't eating, but the truth of the matter is I only had enough to feed them. When I look back at the abortions that I had, but yet God still graced me with 3 children and then bonus babies. When I look back at having a lot of sex with a whole lot of people looking for a little bit of love, and God still blessed me with a beautiful marriage. I don't look like any of those things, and I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that I don't look like the things that I've been through. Not only do I not look like it, I don't smell like it, I don't talk like it, I don't walk like it. I am healed. There's no evidence that I had to go through a season of rehabilitation. There's no evidence that God had me hidden for years. People watch me and they think, oh, she just blowing up. But it's because I am healed. I am healed from the things that I dabbled in. I'm healed spiritually. I'm healed emotionally. I'm healed financially. I'm healed socially. I'm healed mentally. But it's because I allowed God to heal me. I want to leave you with this. Psalm 16, 9 through 10, it says, I am happy from the inside out and from the outside in because I am firmly formed. When God made you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, restored community, He wanted you to be healed. He wanted you to have your heart's desire. But because life came and life does what life does, a lot of us are walking in unhealedness. But I got some good news for y'all. It's going to be a Healed Girl Summer. And brothers, don't think I left y'all out. Y'all jump on in here too. It's going to be a healed people summer. We are no longer going to bleed on people. So join me for the webinar July 9th, 10th, or 12th. You choose the day. Give me an hour of your time, and I'm going to walk you through the steps that I took to be healed. These 7 signs are the evidence. These are the evidence that I'm healed. The evidence that I no longer have the effects of the stroke is I'm able to walk, I'm able to talk, I don't have the facial deformities. The evidence that I am healed financially is I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. The check cashing places don't know me by name anymore, right? I don't have to now. When I go to the recyclable, I'm able to give that money to somebody on the street, or I'm able to give my recyclables away. That's the evidence that I'm healed. But how did I get there? That's what I want to show you on this webinar of how I got to this place of healing. So join me for free. You don't want to miss this. All right, y'all. Next week, we're going to jump into a fire episode. But until then, continue to live a life to inspire and not impress. Continue to turn your trials into treasures. Continue to allow God to restore you and continue to lift as you climb. I'll talk to you soon. I love y'all. Bye-bye.